Sherri Papini. Now, back in August 2020,
I don't want her to be arrested. I don't want to press charges on her. I don't want to find her.
they did an interrogation with Sherri.
You were in that room at his house.
I was the one in it.
And it was recently released by the Shasta County Sheriff's Office. Basically, listen, I've already done a video on this. Sherri Papini deserves to be humiliated, okay? Go watch that one. Now, it gives you the whole insight into the Sherri Papini saga, but long story short, she's a fraud. She's a liar. She wanted to go hang out with her boyfriend, and instead she was like, I'm gonna fake my kidnapping. This is the interrogation video before it had fully come out that we knew Sherri was lying. So we're about to listen to Sherri lie to us for as long as I can take it.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate you taking the time to come talk to us.
Yeah.
As always, your presence here is voluntary.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can go at any time. And
So I think that this is Sherri and her husband, which her husband at the time stood by her even through the trial when stuff had come out, but he ultimately ended up divorcing her. He was a ride or die dude.
With that, we open up the investigation. We go into who could it be within the family. So once we started opening up those doors and looking through the family members and just trying to see Facebook stalking them, criminal histories, just that normal investigation that we do once we start looking into things, we started finding some interesting things.
Okay.
So one of the things that came up to us, is there anything in there that looks
of interest or notable?
interest or?
What is it? Remember, guys, Keith Papini, he is just trying to figure out who did this to his wife. And Sherri Papini is hiding a very, very dark secret. And then our two investigators here, I believe that they already kind of know that Sherri's lying. So those are who all of our players are and their stances.
I mean, that's an awkward photo, but
Yeah.
you know.
So the table, the picture's a little grained out. So
To me, I see a table there that somewhat looks like something you've described to me in the past, and then I see wood paneling. Talking about the room.
Yeah, we noted both of those things back in August
Yeah.
2017. And then we spoke with you about, and you showed us this picture of the table. Do you remember that, Sherri?
Yes, I do.
And so when we were trolling through this, Facebook page, we saw just the edge of that table.
Yeah.
Denise got it, in fact.
Oh, cool.
Denise said, "Hey, Peter, look at this table." And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, wait, you're right."
Yeah.
And it has the wood paneling.
Dude, okay, we're starting off with the camaraderie here. You know, the investigators, they want everyone to feel comfortable, blah, blah, blah. But when they're pulling out these photos and this evidence like this in an interrogation, that means there's a confrontation coming and they know something.
We're like, well, where was that photo taken, right? And so we're trying to figure that out.
So,
Okay.
so that's led us obviously now to obviously this Facebook page has a person. It's got like people tagged into it, so it has, so Peter has a.
But that's still a valid memory, right? Is that this was the table?
Yeah,
A table like this was the table you were on when you were branded?
and we've been talking about that a lot because.
Oh my
you know,
God, no. I forgot that little detail. Sherri told officers that she had been kidnapped by two Hispanic women that strapped her down to a table and branded her. So what they're clarifying now is, so the table you described, we're seeing it here in these tagged photos on Facebook of one of your friends. And Sherri's like, oh, ha, ha, ha. Let's keep it going.
It's been a long time.
It's been a really long time, so like details and things like that, we did the best that we could to take notes on it
Oh my
and
God.
all that, but
Oh my God.
a lot of it's really hard.
Sure.
It's hard to think about.
People can change their weight, people can change the color of their hair. Don't. Just because the photo might be a little bit different, as you know, women like to change their hair and their makeup, their weight can change, so that might be a
Dude,
little bit different.
Sherri's
We're gonna
on
take a look at
edge
this,
right
sit back and see
now.
if you recognize anybody, see these 6 photos. You don't feel like you have to provide an answer. There's no right or wrong answer. Just let us know if you see anybody in this photo that you do recognize, and if you do, we'll talk about how. Okay.
Dude, my favorite thing about this is the paper is about equal distance from Sherri and Keith. And Sherri's approach is, she's looking at the paper. Yeah, I don't see the people that kidnapped me and branded me. No, I don't. And then Keith, who's actually trying to solve the damn thing, he's over here like, don't recognize her. Sheriff, y'all got anything else? We really got to solve this from our wife. I mean, like, you can just see it. Sherri does not want to engage with the evidence.
So nobody jumps out.
Look at that! Look at that!
I mean, this one a little bit, but
Just a
You
little.
say this one a little bit, which number is it?
number 3.
Keith wasn't even fucking there, and he's looking at the lineup harder than she is. Like, oh my god, dude.
There's nothing in there that says, oh yeah, that's her.
No.
Okay.
No.
We're trying to picture her with different hair time.
That's a pleasant group of people.
That's a pleasant group of people. Let us not forget, Sherri claimed that she was kidnapped by 2 Hispanic women, and later it came up that she ran a fairly racist blog. And later on they were like, so Sherri, what's this blog? And she, I have no idea what that is. When it was actually registered with her email address and written and signed by her maiden name. Like, it was her.
I would say right here is what's drawing me to this photo.
So on photo number 5,
Yeah.
Marty, this is the first one we showed you. This is the second one we showed you. So on 6-bat number 2,
But like you were saying, if someone were to lose weight, that would change.
you're drawn to photo number 5?
Yes.
Features of photo number 5?
I think she's afraid to fully implicate somebody because the minute that they talk to that person, they're going to be like, what? I wasn't there. And it's going to be 10 times more convincing than anything that Sherri could ever conjure up.
Correct.
And again, just for
Oh my
for the
God,
record, for
dude.
when
Yeah,
you
she's
go back,
making me cringe
Number-
right now, too. Her
number
panic
1
is
is, when you say
building.
pretty similar, she's similar to the younger female that we've always described in everything.
This
She's,
part right here doesn't really match what I'm remembering. But
The
yes.
hairline doesn't match?
Smaller one, older one.
and just because it's been a long time, can you remind me what the younger one did, like the main parts of it compared to the older one, just for the last, like, clarity of stuff? So for the record, so.
The younger one's the one that let me go.
Okay.
And was the nicer of the 2.
Okay.
The older one was really abusive and really mean, and is the one that did all the really terrible things.
Okay.
True crime people. We've all looked at hundreds, maybe even thousands of cases after a while. How many of you have heard of a case of 2 women kidnapping and mutilating other women? It's just not a dynamic that we see too often. The dynamic she's describing is an abusive woman in power that's controlling a younger, nice, kind girl, and the abusive woman is strapping her down to a table and branding her. It just doesn't really fit a profile of anything that we've seen before. But strangely enough, Sherri Papini mimics a lot of profiles of other killers and liars that you guys have seen before, and it's really easy to see that. But when I can't think of a single case that correlates to the crime you're describing, there's going to be questions.
So, like I said, with the female DNA, obviously we saw that first picture that has the wood paneling,
Yes.
and got the table, right? So that's ultimately what led us to those pictures, which then snowballed us down the road that we're eventually.
So what I think here, I think Sherri's A, afraid to implicate somebody, and then B, if she just says, oh, I don't think any of these people are it. Well, now the investigation is stumped again. And she's hoping that eventually they'll just kind of go cold.
Yeah, and where we are.
So were
today.
you able to find like where that house is?
Yes.
And
Oh.
what? Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me
We'll
more.
get to that.
Okay.
And she wants to know where it is because she wants to know what they know.
And may I ask, how did we even get to that one? How did we get that photo? Based off-
Familia DNA.
So they came back and said, oh, here's some people related in this
There's
familia.
about 40 people total.
That's a good thing, I guess.
But
And
40 is better than
you just started going
60
through,
God.
and
30,
then
whatever the
boom,
numbers
that
are.
caught your eye.
Yeah, we started looking at every.
I just realized they could have collected real DNA from her ex-boyfriend. So now they could be looking at Facebook pages of her ex-boyfriend's friends. I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know. That's a possibility. Let's see what happens.
Everything that we could: phones, online presence,
Cool.
criminal history, Facebook photos, DMV photo, what
How
they
did you guys are
drive.
still on?
And like you said, Denise, obviously you guys are aware, Denise is at
Yeah.
a different location now. She's the one that found that picture. So we cast a wide net to start finding certain
Is
aspects.
she still working on the case even though she's in?
Not officially, but I always call her and say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?
I love her so much. I'm
But yeah,
so
she's still
sad.
working on it in an informal way.
So,
So if you look at this
Oh,
closet,
shit.
What was that?
there's no, there's,
there's stuff.
Did she just see something she didn't like?
I think there was 2 shelves, but now I'm having trouble remembering. I think there was
Okay.
2. I'm pretty sure there was 2. Maybe there was 2. I don't know. I'm focusing on this part right now. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Notice how we're 15 minutes in and Sherri will not commit to a single thing. Sherri, is this the table? I kind of think it is. Sherri, do you see the suspect in any of these photos? This one's calling to me. Sherri, do you remember this? It looks the same but different. Never commits to any detail. Does that sound like somebody that wants to solve the case of people that kidnapped her and abused her?
Trying to ignore the TV and stuff. I don't think you had a TV with you, right?
Definitely not. What am I looking for the window? Do you want to know if it's like the same height? If
Well,
it's-
the type of window, the wall itself, anything from these photos that make you believe that this was where you were being held.
I feel like this wood paneling is too thick. But I mean,
You mean this
there
way?
was wood paneling, but I can't remember something like that being there.
She won't
And
commit.
I don't remember.
That's
Remember
fine.
it going all the way up to the window is what I'm having trouble remembering.
The window in that photo has holes along the edges.
Yeah, hold on a second here.
We're going fast. Sorry.
We don't mean to overwhelm you. We're just trying to draw your attention to different things that maybe we noted. And we want to know how that
I'm trying to think
compares with
about
what you
the window compared
remember.
to the wood paneling.
Because it getting just, I mean, that's probably not important.
I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk now, but the obvious is those are screw holes, right? Is that what you're getting at?
They're just holes.
Holes, screw, nail, something.
Okay. For the board.
She's getting real nervous.
This,
Oh my god, dude, are you guys seeing? Hold on. I don't know how to describe this. I'm not gonna do that whole like body language shit, but I need to like repeat the things to, well, okay, kind of. Like when I see somebody doing this, that to me signals excitement, you know? But alternatively, if you're trying to conceal your anxiety and your fear, it can come off a little strange sometimes. And excitement is kind of a varied form of anxiety. It's like kind of positive. She's kind of going like this. And then when there's stuff down there, she grabs it like, I mean, like that's exactly what I see in her.
so is it fair to say that the paneling,
It's-
like wood paneling below and
you
sheetrock
can feel
above,
the
is what you
panic
remember,
coming off of her.
but you can't recall details about the ledge and
And I
the
can't
difference in
remember if it
width of
actually
these,
went up
She's
to the
getting
window. That's
super
exactly what I was
emotive
drawn
too,
to,
dude.
Is that this is touching the
how it
window.
meets the window
And I don't,
threshold.
yeah.
When somebody's trying to hide their emotions and mask them as something else and it's very intense, in this case, obviously her panic is going to be intense, it can come off very, very strange. Everything she's doing comes off very unnatural to me.
Yes, this is the type of order, but this is not what it looked like to me.
She's so
So
nervous.
the order is correct, but you don't recognize the bathroom as being what you recall. Do you remember there was a detail about the shower?
Chat, they know. They know.
About the type of something on the tile or something like that. Do you
That
remember
there
any
was
of those?
tile in the tile, there was a crack.
Where was the crack? It's not a memory test. If you don't remember, that's fine. But we remember that detail when we took some of these photos and we were just.
We're 20 minutes in, and Sherri's demeanor has gradually become much, much more anxious. As you're watching this video, pay attention to her and watch as her energy and fear and her panic goes up because she doesn't have any release to let go of all of this fear in this moment. For the next hour, she's going to be sitting right there in that chat. No release.
Can I talk?
Sure. Unless she tells you she.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm trying to like get myself there and I
Just
don't.
as a reminder, I do remember when we went to my grandma's house. You didn't like her tile because it reminded you of that. I think I sent.
You sent us a picture.
Yes.
That's why I would say we.
That's what I just want to remind her because if you think of that, because I can't even think of what her tile looks like right now, but I do remember you didn't like that at all.
Keith has just rolled Sherri up, taken a big swing back, and thrown her under the bus. When he went to his grandmother's house with him and Sherri, Sherri said, "I don't like the tile. It reminds me of the incident." And so Keith took a photo of the tile and sent it to the officers. A photo of tile that apparently looks similar to the room that she was in.
I can't remember the crack. I remember you told me the crack, but I don't remember where it told me. Or else I'd bring it up. But...
I'm so nervous of like saying something that's not gonna be right, so I just can't remember.
Girl,
At the beginning, we only want the truth, and so whatever is the best
I think
understanding or memory that you have. If we could go back to the closet really quick, though, I remember when you were talking about being chained into the closet and trying to figure out a way to get loose. You talked about working on a
screw.
screw, right?
Uh-huh.
And what happened to that screw when you were done with it?
I dug a hole in the wall and poked it into the wall.
Okay. Because this is an interesting photo as well.
Oh, interesting.
Is this in the closet?
That's in the closet.
No, it was drywall.
It was into the drywall.
It was into drywall.
Wow. So they're actually finally able to confirm a single detail from Sherri. She said, yes, this is how it happened. And they were like, well, that's interesting because we have this photo. And she was like, wait, nope, that's not how it happened. It was in the drywall. She's trying to sow as much seeds of doubt as possible into this so that they basically get exhausted and they stop the investigation.
We're showing you all of this because ultimately this is the house. That
Look at
we talked to.
Who saw it? Who saw it? Who saw it? Who's do you know what I'm laughing at right now? Look at Keith's reaction to when they say we found the house.
Because ultimately this is the house. That we were at. We talked to the people who live there. Sorry.
She said, baby, calm down. This is not good. This is not good.
Talked to who's involved. We talked to family who knows that you were there, and talked to a couple people.
This is it. This is it.
Who did see?
Oh my God, this is it.
During this event.
They confirmed that people saw her there.
There's a lot of truths. There's a lot of things that were said that we have always confirmed. That we've always said. There's a lot of truths and there's some unknowns. Like one of the simple ones, like, well, this description of the bathroom is just weird. Like that was like an argument in all of our offices where we were sitting there like this part's weird. But then we find a house with it. Then the all thread through the thing, that's just weird.
It's unique to this place. Like that's a pretty custom. You can't just go out to IKEA and buy a closet that looks like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So once we have all those things and we start talking to the person who lives here, who had lived there, who still lives there, start talking to his family and starting that whole investigation, peeling one thing back after another, doing the same thing we've done for the last 4 years. It led us to a specific person,
Oh my
but not
God.
a female. It led us to the car that picked you up, but not an SUV. So there's lots of different aspects that are truths and falses. And we're to the point now that nobody would have ever imagined that this would have blown up the way that it did. So I've been a cop 15 years. I've never seen the media scale that this garnered pretty quickly. How long have you been in law enforcement now?
12 years in the Bureau.
So, like, of the minds, Brian,
is
who's
it.
been
This
around
is the
20
book,
plus
the
years,
big
people
push.
come out of 25, 30 plus years. The media attention that this got out was insane. So I think with that being said, some choices and some decisions ultimately changed the original path of what happened. I don't think anybody would have wished the media frenzy that occurred, like for this event, no matter what the situation, if it was a kid, because the media skewed so many facts. It brought so many people in from the woodwork that if we didn't have the woodwork, we wouldn't have the noise.
And that brings a lot of pressure when you get that kind of scrutiny.
They're saying we had to solve this
We'd like to
case.
talk to you more about those things, and we can do it with Keith here, or we can ask Keith to leave. Whatever.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. For the police, for the officers here, you cannot go on national television and say there's 2 women out here in the county that are abducting women and branding them. The public is going to be terrified. They're not going to be sympathetic towards you, Sherri. They're going to be terrified. They're going to put pressure on the police department to solve this because they don't want to get abducted.
Break down some of the problems. If you want Keith here, all we want is to have the truth. All we want is to be able
If
to
you
tell the
want
truth.
Keith here, is she going to ask Keith
That's
to
all we've
leave?
ever wanted
No,
from
he's
day
still-
one. We talked with you for hours. We've been there. We've done all these different things, waiting for something, waiting for it to break, waiting for us to lead something to here. Because the DNA came back, like I said, to a specific person. That specific person told us very specific things. His family then told us specific things.
These 2 officers know that they're talking about Sherri's ex-boyfriend. Sherri now knows that they're talking about her ex-boyfriend and saying, hey, we spoke to your ex. Keith does not know.
We can talk with Keith or without Keith here. What would you like?
Do you want to step out or do you want to stay?
Obviously, I want to say.
Or we can do a little bit of both. Talk to you alone first and then have him come back in.
She doesn't want him to hear this.
It's completely up to you. And that's why I'm not even looking at Keith. I don't care about your opinion, Keith.
I know.
What we want out of this is the truth.
I mean, law enforcement has always been an issue, so.
Okay.
What?
So if you want Keith to leave,
Law enforcement has always been an issue. She about to start talking shit because she knows she got caught? Is that the plan, Sherri? Keith out here like, time for some justice.
obviously everything's fearful. If you tell him to leave and what I'm going to say is benign, then he's going to, we can pull him back in the room. Like, hey, Keith, come back in. This is what we talked about. So there's that fear of him wigging out. Why is she trying to hide something from me? There isn't. And if you can help me.
Yeah, there's no trick here. We're just trying to make sure that
Yeah,
you're comfortable to talk, that you can't be to talk to us.
She can't commit to anything. She can't commit to saying yes to any of the evidence. She can't commit to a story. She can't commit to her husband. She can't commit to asking her husband to leave the room because she doesn't want the details of the case. Like, I mean, what personality trait is this besides a shitty one?
They're asking you, they're not asking me. Obviously, I would want to be here and whatever needs to come out.
And you can change your mind in the future too, if you
But
want
no
to
matter what,
change
it's
it.
going to get out, so.
Like I said in the beginning, you're free to go. So if you wanted to chat with them privately, that's fine too, but we want to talk to you.
We can leave the room, give you guys the room for a couple minutes. Yeah, we'll be right back.
Wait, do we get the footage of them speaking privately? I feel like I shouldn't be watching this. Oh no.
You need to stop waiting right now. Tell me the truth. I don't want to
Same Animal Crossing, bitch. Speak up.
I don't want them to find her. I don't want her to be arrested. I don't want to press charges on her. I don't want to find her.
I told you I don't want to find her. I don't want to press charges on her. I don't want her to be arrested. Why would you not want these women? Come on, man. Oh, people pleaser nation, rise up. One in the chat if you're a people pleaser. Are you so much of a people pleaser that you wouldn't want your kidnapper arrested? What's her story? Oh, one was really mean, but one girl was really nice and she's got her whole life ahead of her. Maybe she, like, I don't, dude, come on.
I don't want them to find her. You're not listening to
Tell me
me.
why.
Oh,
Because she saved my life.
she saved my life. No, see, I told you not to do that. She was gonna help her.
This is going to be really bad.
The one girl was so nice. She saved my life. I don't want to ruin her. Come on.
I don't want to go down that road.
But you tell her?
I don't want to go down that road. I
Then
don't
why are
want
we
to.
here, Sherri?
Because she saved my life, and she's the reason why I get to hold my children every single day.
What's interesting to me here is these two officers have clear as day basically said to Sherri's face, we've spoken to the person that lives there. Okay, that's her ex-boyfriend. She knows. There is no woman in this story. There's no two women that ran her. Those people are out of the story when it comes to the two officers and Sherri. And here she is going to lie to Keith's face and say, I don't want that girl to get arrested. Come on, dude. Wait, come on. Nobody's that fucking Christian, Sherri. Not even Kenneth Copeland. Keith has to know something's up. He has to know.
Yeah, I feel like you're in the driver's seat right now.
I think it's easier to control things once you know what the information is, to be honest with you, Sherri. So I can tell you what it is, say what it is when Keith leaves, and then you can say yes or no, whether or not you want him in there for the rest of it.
For right now, he's just, am I in the room or am I out of the room? So that's the...
And I'm to the point where if you want him here, we'll just go on with the conversation.
As long as you're not interrupting or causing a disturbance.
I'll stay over here.
But if he steps out, I can say a name, and then you can choose whether you want him in here for the rest of it or not. It's completely up to you. Or I can just continue on, and again, like I said, I wanted you to always have control over certain aspects of stuff. We're not to a point where anybody's going to jail yet. We're not to a point of anything like that. We're just still at the talking stage. We're at the control stage.
You seem scared, Sherri.
Oh, she's crying. You seem scared, Sherri.
What is it?
She's crying because she doesn't want that poor girl to go to jail.
When you don't answer, Sherri, it makes me concerned because I want to hear what your answers are and I want to be able to understand.
The only way to control things is for us to know.
I don't want you to find her.
We're not going to find her.
Wow, the tears stopped and she said, I don't want you to find her. I don't want you. Oh my God. It's coming out. It's coming out. Dude, these light voiced master manipulators. And like, honestly, listen, she had a whole press tour after her. Where is Sherri? So these soft-spoken manipulators, they have a really nasty dark side. They can do the sweet voice the whole I can't even do it the whole time. But then when their true intentions come out, it's a very sharp tone change. It's very pointed, it's a little angry, and they just can't hide it. I think we'll hear a little bit more of that come out as Sherri gets exposed.
She's the reason why I get to see my children every day.
I agree, but we're not gonna find her.
She's the reason? What do you mean by that?
She means the younger one let her go, right? That's what you're referring to? We're not gonna find her. And we can just skip to the rock into the water and ruffle up the pond if we want to now. Again, this is your last opportunity. This is the last time if you want to do this alone or with Keith. Keith's been through this also on a different level. So I'm ready to move on and throw the dart and throw the rock and see what happens with the water. But Sherri, look at me. What do you want?
I don't want her to get in trouble.
She's not going to get in trouble. So the DNA came back to James Reyes.
Does he know that?
Your
The DNA that was on you belongs to James Reyes.
The picture, and I can get the picture.
Oh my
The picture of the table is James Reyes' little brother who died recently. We talked to him. We've been on a polygraph. We talked to everybody around him. We have the rental agreements, phone rental,
my God.
car rental agreements. We have everything that says that he said he told the truth.
That's James' brother.
So everything, you've told us so many truths in this situation. The reason why you can describe the room is because you stayed in the room in the dark for hours, for days on end. The reason why you lost so much weight is because you stopped eating. The reason why you got a rash on your arm is because you cleaned his house. The reason why the brand is because he went to the store, bought the branding tools, and branded you. The reason why your nose was broke is because of a hockey stick.
Oh my God.
I know all of those things.
Oh my God.
And I know there was no sex. I know all of that because he passed a polygraph test.
Oh my God.
That said, it's not an abduction. She asked me to come get her.
No,
I rented a car.
No.
I drove up and picked her up.
Oh my God.
He passed the polygraph test, Sherri.
If that's not what happened, what did happen, Sherri?
I don't know.
He threw her
No,
under the
there's
bus.
no way. It's James. There's no way. There's no
The
way.
DNA doesn't lie.
His DNA,
His DNA was on you.
his
There's
brother,
no way.
Robert saw you in the house while you were down there. While everything
Who's
spun out of
Robert?
control, his cousin. Why everything ran out of control on the initial.
There's no way.
It's 100% Robert's or James's DNA.
We even collected blonde hairs from the room.
Oh. Yep, those are
There's
yours.
no way. It's James. There's no way.
Tell me that it is.
Why are you saying it's not James? Why are you saying it's not?
He loved me.
What's that?
We were friends.
Mhm.
There's no way.
And he came and got you because you asked him.
She doesn't know how to respond to this, right? So there's no way it's him. There's no way it's him. There's no. She keeps repeating that because she's buying herself time, right? So now she's waiting for the investigators to say, and she's not really doing this all consciously. It's just how it happens. So now she's waiting for the investigators to say something she can latch onto to weave the next story, right? And guess what the next story is going to be? There's no way it's James. He wouldn't do that to me. Well, now they're going to cut right through that and say, yeah, no, he wouldn't do that to you, but it's because you called him. So let's see how she responds to that.
There's no way.
And he came and got you because you asked him.
Because you asked him. Cut right through it.
No.
When was the last time you had contact with James?
His brother died.
Brother died in 2017. Is that right?
I don't remember.
Was it before or after the abduction?
Before.
Before.
When was the last time you saw James?
What's she gonna say?
Forever ago, when I lived in Southern California.
Forever
So the
ago.
last person contact you had with him was back in 2006
They've got proof.
when you were living in Southern California?
I don't know.
Dude, that investigator fired off the year. They're all the way in 2020, and he's been reading this file up and down. She said last time I spoke to him was when I was in Southern California. He said, "Oh yeah, 2006," and it's like, what the fuck?
Was it prior to your marriage?
Ooh.
It's him. There is no way it's him.
She doesn't want to answer that.
It is
The
James.
DNA tells us that it was his
Well-
DNA on you.
The DNA alone says it's him.
Oh my
And when
god.
we talked to him, confronted him with the DNA,
He told us what happened.
He 100% told us what happened.
And gave us details that nobody else would know.
And we can call him and we can all talk about
We
it.
bring him in.
But ultimately, can you look at me for a second? ultimately, we put him on a polygraph like we did Keith. Keith was inconclusive, to be honest with you, on whether he was involved or not. But 100%, James was telling the truth. The questions were, did Sherri ask you to come pick her up? He answered yes. That was the truth on a polygraph. We asked him if the two of you ever had sex. The answer was no.
During 2016.
During 2016, during the abduction, he said no. That was the truth. We asked him if you asked him to brand you. The answer was yes, and he passed the polygraph on all of those questions. He took us to the stores where he bought the chain. We talked to the friend who rented the car. The car that he rented drove over 900 miles in a day on the drop-off point.
Wow, 900 miles in a day.
I
Is
know
that
it's
what
a lot
they
to take
said?
in.
And the fear of Keith's reaction, obviously now he's in the room, the fear of media, the fear of all of these things are coming forward, they're in front of you now. The only way to get a hold of it, the only way for everybody to come together and heal, the whole community has to heal, is for us to be able to say, when we presented all of the evidence, all of the stuff that came forward, you told us the truth. You told us what happened. Because you did go in a dark room, that's true. You did lay in the backseat of the car, that's true. You did lose weight, you were branded, your hair was cut, you did have bruises all over. But how those bruises got there are because you did it and James did something.
Why did she fake it though? Because very simply, because Sherri Papini wanted her cake and to eat it too. Sherri wanted a slice of cake and the whole cake. What's the fucking phrase? Sherri Papini wanted the whole cake shop? Is it something about pie? Sherri likes cake and she wants all the cake, okay? That's what it is. She was already married, and then, you know what, honestly, what I suspect happened, and of course we're going into BOZE conspiracy world. We're always here. What I kind of suspect happened is her ex-boyfriend, his little brother died. That is devastating. Absolutely devastating. What does that mean? He was in a vulnerable spot. So here's Sherri, bored in her marriage, and she's like, oh my God, my ex-boyfriend needs me? He's really, really sad right now, and I can show up and give him attention and make it better. So then she goes and spends some time with her ex-boyfriend, and then she decides that she wants to have her cake and eat it too. And then she wants to go back to her husband and act. She wanted the best of both worlds. You know, that's it.
The reason why your nose got broke is because you held the hockey stick to your face and he forced it into your nose. The reason why the brand is in a straight line is because he did it. He described exactly where it was.
Oh my
He told
God.
exactly how he did it, where he did it, how he did it.
She's not getting out of
Only you
this, and
I
she
maybe
knows
5
it.
other people know where the brand was. He told me immediately.
You're saying since you're married, you haven't called James?
No, I haven't called James.
Oh,
Because earlier you said you had contacted James.
honesty?
His phone records show that you do. You did. The phones don't lie, the DNA doesn't lie, Sherri.
His polygraph doesn't lie.
So you can go a
His-
couple different directions now.
His story.
I've already told you lying to me is a crime. So you walk out the store telling lies, and that's a crime.
I think we need my lawyer. This isn't making any sense.
Yeah, this doesn't fit into my narrative. Doesn't make
Parts of it
That
sense.
is James.
No, the parts that don't make sense are that you're accusing 2 females who abducted you when it was James. The part that you were branded, James did it. He told me he did
No.
it. Who would sit there and
No,
say,
no.
I branded Sherri on her right shoulder blade? Who does that?
You told us how and showed us the letters that match the brand.
Took us to the store and pointed out the letters.
She said, this doesn't make any sense.
The problem is today's the case is resolved. Everything, the only things, well, how
Did
do we
Keith,
prove that
wait.
you're telling us the truth?
Did Keith back up or did she?
Who does that?
You told us how and showed us the letters that match the brand.
Took us to the store and pointed out the letters.
Me too,
The
Keith.
problem is
Me too.
today's the case is resolved. Everything, the only things, well, how do we prove that you're telling us the truth? How do we prove that the truth is that 2 women took you, but I'm telling you it's a male? The fact that you were branded is true. The small fact is that you willingly lay down and did it versus being tied to a table. So we could do the polygraph and try to, whatever parts you're confused about.
Can you go? Is that what you said?
Can I talk to you outside real quick?
Oh,
Or wait?
That's fine.
he's gonna talk to me.
The fears of how out of control everything got, the fear of all these things.
Chat, one line. When they go out of the room, what do you think that Keith is saying to the officer? Nar? You think that's the one line?
There are things he says that we can corroborate, and whatever you say, we're going to try and corroborate. But right now, I'm not sure what you're saying. You're just saying you can't believe it's him. And you're saying you don't understand. But there are details he provided. We know you were in his house. We collected hairs from that bedroom. That's going to have DNA. We already have
Lay
your
'em
hairs
out.
that you left with your cell phone.
Lay the
And you
photos
took
out.
That's my DNA, obviously.
So that's not going to lie either. The descriptions you provided are that room and that house to a T, except it's not a gravel driveway. And it's not elevated. And there's not two women who live there.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna say this. I have been trying to figure this out for the longest time. How do you beat the manipulator that is just not based in reality? The only way that you beat these people is by telling people. The person will never accept your evidence. They will never give you that accountability. The only thing that you can possibly do is tell other people, and other people believing you will give you that little bit of accountability. Now, only tell people if, they really need to know and it's not going to put your reputation at risk, but you can't bring this shit to these people's doorstep. They're not going to do anything with it. They're going to kick over your whole pile of evidence and say, that never happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
James lives there.
You know James lives there.
So you might as well get out of your head that James is not involved, because James is clearly involved. And James already told us he's the one that did the brand.
That's something that he admitted to mayhem. He admitted to a felony you could put him in prison over.
So it doesn't jive.
Oh my gosh, she's
Your
crying.
opportunity to
She's
say,
using her
Were
superpower.
there issues between you and Keith? Is that why you needed to leave? I mean, we read your text message. We're already aware of some issues, but enlighten us if that's the case. If there was a valid reason for you to leave, let me know what that was.
James said you had your jaw broken by him, and that's why he came and got you, because you were in an abusive relationship.
I love my husband.
So, were you in an abusive relationship with him? Have you told other people in your life that, like China?
That's what it was. She's ulting.
That's
That's funny.
China told me that day 2, where there was an incident at a party that you got hurt playing, like, I don't know, Wii or Pictionary or something, and then you told other friends that Keith hurt you. When there was witnesses at the party that said that you got hurt during a party. But then you go tell.
The funny thing too about people that use tears to manipulate you, they cry and they cry and they cry. They cry and they cry. And most people, especially I feel like a lot of you guys have a lot of empathy. When you see somebody crying, you change your tone. No matter if they're wrong, change your tone a little bit. You give in to them a little bit. These officers aren't giving her shit. If Sherri does eventually stop crying in this, which oh my God, I just looked at the end. They're going to talk to him solo. Let me shut the fuck up.
Has Keith ever been abusive towards you?
We are not talking about my husband. I love my husband.
No, you don't.
So why leave?
If you did, we wouldn't be here, Sherri.
Is James lying to us?
I want to leave my husband. I want to be with my children. I would never leave my children.
You
Ever.
didn't leave them permanently. You came back to them. Ultimately,
No.
You left them every day at daycare, so it's not like, hey. And James talked about that decision when you were driving down, how hard that was. You left at 10 o'clock knowing that Keith was going to get home late, knowing you were going to leave the kids at daycare, and how much that tore you up on the drive down. You told us that. Then things got out of
James and
control.
I talked about that. We did talk about that before.
When
and you're welcome to go home, Sherri. But right now is your opportunity to tell us the truth. And
Can't be.
are you saying that it was two females that picked you up?
Nope.
What's that? Every time I ask that question, it seems like you don't answer it.
I can't. This can't be happening.
you sat in a room, you drew out 2 people in a sketch, Sherri. Are those 2 people the ones that took you? It's a yes or no.
I don't know.
Well, you were pretty clear when I asked you earlier, what did the younger one do? You said the younger one pointed a gun at you.
She was there.
Somebody in chat asked, why was she branded? A lot of times in crimes, when somebody did it and they're trying desperately to act like they didn't do it, they'll injure themselves to try to paint themselves as a victim. This has happened in hundreds, thousands of cases, but very famously, this was even depicted in Scream at the end of the movie where, you know, the killer stabs themselves to try to act like they're a victim. I was just thinking, like, did I spoil that? But I don't think I said too much. But yeah, it's so popular and so silly that it's even happened before in a movie. So in this case, Sherri broke her own nose with a hockey stick and she branded herself to try to make this all look real. And they always go for the injury that's not too gruesome, not too, you know, life-threatening, just enough so that somebody buys their story.
She wasn't. It was just James.
Not me.
James was 2 hours late.
We have the rental records from 2016 for the vehicle that he used.
Why?
Because we went and looked for it, because he told me.
Because I was talking to him.
That's clear. You're talking to him. I don't.
This is my fault because I was talking to him. This can't.
We have to control what we can control.
No.
We're to the point, did the younger female that you've always described, is she the one that pointed a gun at you? Is that true or not?
Don't know.
You do know, you told me earlier. So earlier today, when we were talking, I asked you, what did the younger one do? You told me the younger one pointed a gun at you and let you go. That's what you said.
She let me go.
Yeah, you let yourself go. You let yourself out of the backseat, never even said bye to James. Never a thank you, never a nothing, just an out.
No.
Yeah, that's what James told me. Until you can start telling me that James is a liar and start pointing things out. James passed a polygraph.
This is my fault.
Oh, she just said this is my fault.
It's my fault that I was flirting with other men. It was such a stupid thing to do.
So now, and this is another thing manipulators like to do, they admit to something small. She's not ready to admit that she called James. She's not ready to admit that she brought on this whole, you know, media manhunt for these people that didn't exist. She's not willing to admit that she lied to police officers, which is a crime. But now she's at a point where her back is up against the wall to the point that she's going to admit, I'm so stupid for talking to other guys. She's going to admit to the smaller crime. That's what they always do.
I love my husband.
Flirting
I
with
love
other-
my children.
That's understandable.
It's so stupid for
Here's the deal, though,
talking to other
Sherri.
men.
Flirting with other men, not a crime.
Yeah, call her out. They're
Lying to
killing
men,
it here,
yes,
dude.
a crime. Big difference.
Telling your story of what happened to you isn't a crime.
And I know you're scared of what Keith is going to say and do, what's going to happen with you and your family. Those are real concerns.
It should be.
But we also need to understand the truth.
Damn, this is a good
And
interrogation.
you're in the best position to give us that. You keep saying that it can't be him. The DNA doesn't lie. It's him.
You were talking to
And
him,
now's the opportunity for you to tell
Talking
us.
to him. I was talking to him. I was talking to him.
and we've
I
talked
started
about
talking again when his brother died.
okay,
You started
that makes
talking again,
sense.
what?
when her brother died.
Oh, sure.
And that makes sense. The problem we have is the actions after the talking, after the flirting. There was a big difference between talking on the phone and getting in a car with somebody. So are you saying that James got two females to kidnap you? Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? So if James's DNA is on
I
you,
don't know.
are you? So either we're still saying the younger girl pointed a gun at you, or we're saying we don't know.
The younger girl
You
that
already
doesn't
told me that
exist.
today, that a younger girl pointed a gun at you.
You said you didn't want her to get caught. So are we still talking to the female that you go?
That's where we're at. And I don't know doesn't add clarity on simple questions, Sherri. A very easy question. Did James pick you up? You told me earlier that a girl pointed a gun at you. Is that detail, which one's true? It's only one. Only one of those are true, Sherri. You've told both of them. I've told one, you've told the other. Which one's true? Does James need to go to jail for all the stuff
Wow, they're
that you asked him to do?
dude. This is crazy. So they're pitting her against James, but James, his story is airtight. That's the ex-boyfriend. His thing is airtight. But if Sherri goes against James in this, it's just open shut. It's just open shut.
I did not ask for this.
No, nobody asked for this.
She said, I didn't ask for
Sherri, I believe
this.
you. Nobody asked for this.
Yeah, you should be
Nobody
asking
asked
for
for
an
ABC
attorney,
news to
but
fuck
here
out
we
of
are,
There was no way
Sherri.
you could have predicted that this was going to blow up and to be as big as it was. Not even God thought it was going to turn into this big. Even when he first got the call, he didn't think that CNN and ABC and everybody was going to care.
I'm gonna find Sherri in a couple days because I found Donovan. I found the people some of the people you're talking to. I've never known about your work cell phone.
Stupid.
But we're beyond that small discretion. We've talked about that discussion.
Yeah.
We've talked about Donovan, right? Remember? We talked about Donovan.
Got a highlighted chat comment here from Spacey Rain, who said, Panini gets grilled.
Who picked you up? Was it James or was it a female? that
Panini
pointed
gets
at you?
grilled.
Please answer that. You're shaking your head no.
I will not get. No, I'm not talking to you about that. I'm not going to get anybody in trouble. I've told you before. I do not want anyone to get in trouble.
Well, you're going to get yourself in trouble at this point. That's where we're at. So either James.
I didn't do anything wrong.
I know you didn't.
Yeah,
do
you
anything
did.
wrong.
Yeah,
Right
you
now,
did.
You're not telling the truth, which is doing something wrong. That's where we're at. James put himself on a polygraph. Talked to FBI agents. He talked with Peter and I for 6 hours. You told us everything, Sherri. You told us so many truths because you put yourself through.
True.
They were true. You're
But
absolutely
you don't
right.
want to talk about the women.
So, but the one.
You're saying that it's James.
No, I'm
We're
not.
saying James's DNA was on you. We know
Dude.
you were in that room at his house.
Then who
So the
is
question
the
is-
woman?
Well,
She's still saying, you're saying it's James as though she's not involved. Sherri. Sherri. Dude.
Who is the woman?
Well,
Okay.
the
That's why we're asking you. It
Did the
wasn't the
woman
woman.
put a pointed gun at you and put you in the car? Yes or no? Is that where we're at?
Don't remember.
You don't remember if a female pointed a gun at you and put you in the car? Is that what you're saying, Sherri?
I've always told you I don't remember getting in the car. I've always told you I don't remember getting in the car.
Correct. But did a female point a gun at you? Yes or no?
What, were you so excited you blacked out?
Remember.
Yes or no? It's not a remember thing. You've already told me that today.
You know who she is. I know you do.
It was always
You
Keith.
know who she is.
Yeah,
You know
the
you
lady
do.
we showed you is another raise. No, I know James opened the door for you. Whether you want to forget how you got in the car, I'm okay with that. But we've already established today. That's why I asked you today. What did the younger girl do? You said she let me go and she pointed a gun at me. We didn't talk about how you got in the car. Right now I'm asking you. Did a younger female point a gun at you? Yes or no?
Oh,
What?
she's not going to answer that.
I know you know who she is. I am
We're
not
on the
saying
wrong-
it.
I
don't
know.
want her to get in
Wow.
trouble.
So this is the very typical turning it back on the officers. They said, I need to know yes or no. Did the girl point the gun at you? This is something that the officers do to try to get a firm story from her so that when it contradicts the evidence they have, it makes her look really bad. But she doesn't want to answer this question. Instead, she does the typical manipulator thing and she turns it on the officer. She said, I know you know who she is.
She's
I
not
know
getting-
you know who
Literally.
she is.
You're getting in trouble.
I am not. I didn't.
He said, you're getting in trouble.
I know you know who she is. I am not
we're on the
saying
wrong-
it. I don't want her to get in trouble.
She's
I
not
know
getting-
you know who she is.
You're getting in trouble.
I am not. I didn't do anything.
But right now, answer this one question. Did a female point a gun at you? Yes or no?
I am done speaking to you until I talk to a lawyer. I will not arrest her. I am with my children because of her.
At this point, sure.
I don't understand. There is no way that it's Jesse loves me.
You did both. I agree.
Sherri, if you want to talk to your attorney, that's fine. We can wrap this up. If you want to keep talking to us, that's a separate story. But you said you wanted to talk to your attorney, so like from the beginning, you're free to go and you can go. I would ask you one more question, just for your own welfare. Do you feel like harming yourself?
Welfare.
Do you feel like harming yourself?
No, I just want my children.
Did she say I'm not on welfare? Maybe my hearing's just distorted because I think Sherri's racist. Like,
to go home.
what
Okay.
does she mean? I'm not
Okay,
on
don't do that.
welfare. Is that what she said? Keith coming back in, like, all right. Oh, he limbered up.
I mean, from my side, I feel like my whole world's gonna flip upside down again. Why is that? Why am I always getting held out of it? Like, why can't you just hit me with it?
I did.
I know, yeah.
Because this happened Monday.
No, you're saying you can't tell me all this stuff.
It's still an ongoing investigation, so I'm not
Cyborg.
gonna find out answers. I mean, there's
Us.
that's the way it is.
Obviously, can you help me throw me a bone and then go, maybe she made it up? Is that where we're going, right? Or is she trying to come up with a whole another?
We're not going to give you any additional details. Obviously, you heard the questions, so you can
Yeah.
read through some of those and understand. You've seen some of the photos,
Yeah.
so you know some of the
Well,
investigative work
obviously you
we've
saw me, I
done.
was like, yeah, we found him.
And we did.
Yeah,
But you can also notice your reaction compared to her reaction.
yeah. No, 100%. That's what I'm saying from my side, but now you're telling me, okay, you guys can go home now. Well, Do you think I want her anywhere around my kids or around me at all at this point?
And again, we've talked a lot. I don't know what the next stages of this are. That's why.
It's not
that's
us
why
together, I tell you that one.
whatever those decisions are, I don't know.
But from
I'm sorry. I just have to say, for anyone that's watching this on YouTube right now, like 10 minutes ago, like I told everyone to subscribe, and I just kind of like said it firmly and then like moved on. And literally for the past 20 minutes, they've been sub bombing me, and I get nervous because you guys know I had a rough childhood. I don't think I deserve anything. So if I get gifted like more than 5 subs, I'm like, no, stop. Okay, no. I just have to disclaimer. That's why I'm making weird faces right now because I don't know what to do. Because I asked for it. He's nervous.
You're punching walls.
Would y'all be nervous?
We appreciate that.
I'm shocked. Okay.
Godspeed, Keith. Godspeed.